The third session, Global Pathways to Support Cleantech Success. To continue the session, allow me to invite Dr. Noboru Zama, the industrial development expert from UNIDO, to present their global approach to inclusive cleantech ecosystem. To Dr. Noboru Zama, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. I would like to start my presentation. My name is Noboru Zama, and I am representing the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, or UNIDO. I'm based in the headquarters, which is in Vienna, in Austria, and I had the privilege to collaborate together with the ASEAN Center for Energy to support these incredible startups through the ASEAN project, or this ASEAN Sparks program. Now I would like to briefly explain about UNIDO's approach on how we are supporting the inclusive climate tech innovation ecosystem. Maybe to some of you, UNIDO could be a very new UN organization. Just to give you a very quick overview about UNIDO. So we are working on inclusive and sustainable industrial development. So industrial development, this is our mandate. And we are supporting a lot of all the series of industries to become more resilient and also sustainable. So that is basically our mandate. If I bring in a little bit of the UN language, we are the custodian agency or organization supporting this SDG goal number 9. Yes. So this is basically, yes, we are supporting, working a lot on towards the achievement of the SDG 9. Sorry, I think there was another slide after this, but I will just move into the next slide. So, but how are we supporting, or how are we working, right? Especially we take it very important to support the MSMEs, the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, or in other words, startups. And why? Basically, it is because in numbers, about 90 to 95% of the businesses worldwide, and also 60 to 70% of the total employment, and approximately 50% of the global GDP, they are all represented by MSMEs or startups. So, in other words, MSMEs and startups, they have a great impact and a very big potential to contribute to the global economy. So that is one very strong reason or rationale that we are supporting, providing a lot of support to MSMEs and startups. But again, a little bit more in detail, we consider that startups and MSMEs, they can foster inclusive and sustainable growth. So we've already discussed this in the earlier sessions. They are the drivers of employment and also job creation and GDP growth. Again, they are very agile to adapt and respond to the local needs. I think we had all the 8 startups presentations in the previous session. I think this is very clear. They are the ones that know best about what is happening locally, and they know all the solutions that they need to provide. So this is another reason. And finally, higher adoption rates and sustainability. So since they are working a lot in the, on the ground, and they have all these strong relationships and networks, it is very important to work together with the MSMEs and startups, because they are the ones that know best. Okay. So just would like to go a little bit more into the concrete initiatives or projects that UNIDO has been implementing so far. First, I'm not going to touch upon this very much because we have been discussing about this a lot during this forum today. But this enhancing the climate tech innovation ecosystem in ASEAN project. This again, together with the ASEAN Center for Energy, we have been supporting all the startups, especially the 8 startups that are here in this room. But besides that, there's another very big, relatively big program called the Global Cleantech Innovation Program, or the GCIP. Actually, this the ASEAN Sparks program, this has been developed and also designed based on this GCIP program, which UNIDO has been implementing for, I would say, over 10 years. This is a global program, very similar, again, to the ASEAN Sparks program. This empowers MSMEs in emerging markets and also developing countries, including least developed countries. And again, this is to support clean tech innovation across the globe. So far, the GCIP has been working in 17 countries. This is not only here in Asia, but also in Africa, Eastern Europe, and also in Latin America as well. And since 2014, we have been supporting over 1,850 companies, startups, MSMEs, and have also trained more than 650 experts around the globe. And also, again, a bit more on the environment or climate. This GCIP program, we have mitigated over 10 million metric tons of GHG emissions by 2030. This is again a bit more in detail about the GCIP program. You can see this the map on the right side of this slide. There is this parent program together with the child program. And you can see here in Indonesia, in Cambodia, and also in Vietnam, a few countries that we have been supporting here in the Southeast Asian region. The sectors, it spans, it's quite broad, from energy efficiency, renewable energy, waste management, water efficiency, green buildings, transportation, and also advanced materials and chemicals. So these were the sectors that has been supported by the GCIP. Now moving on a bit more, those two programs that I have touched upon earlier, they were more on low carbon or climate mitigation. But now this program that I would like to introduce very briefly is a bit more towards adaptation. So, of course, energy, low carbon or climate mitigation, this is a very important pillar for UNIDO, but we're not limiting to that. We are also covering climate adaptation and industrial resilience as well. So this is just one example, a very big, relatively, I think, about $48.5 million program, which is just about to start from 2026 until 2030. This is covering more of the African countries, such as Malawi, Lesotho, Somalia, Ethiopia, Madagascar, and Angola. UNIDO has been traditionally pretty much strong with the African countries, but again, we are expanding. We're making use of the expertise and the experience that we have gained from the African countries to, let's say, to Southeast Asian countries, and also other parts in Asia, and also to Latin America, or other regions, geographical regions as well. There are several pillars. Pillar number one is more on policy and regulatory environment. The second pillar is more on providing resilience and adaptation solutions. And the third is more on finance, adaptation finance, trying to bring more, especially private finance, into adaptation works. And the final pillar, the fourth pillar, is more on knowledge management and learning. Again, it's another example, a bit more in specific African countries in Kenya and Uganda. This is a project which UNIDO is implementing together with the Adaptation Fund. This is another multilateral fund. The previous program was with the Global Environment Facility, or the GEF. And this project is with the Adaptation Fund. Yes, and what we are doing, this is a little, I would say, similar to the ASEAN Sparks program, kind of more in the context of accelerators, but not only limiting to that. So we are supporting the SMEs in the agriculture and water sectors, and trying to provide and pilot these performance-based grant mechanisms. So kind of selecting several startups and MSMEs in the countries, right, 2 countries, and also providing these performance-based grants to the selected companies. And also we are trying to work with these financial institutions to provide some capacity buildings and training so that the financial institutions can also provide more support towards MSMEs and also startups. And the final project that I would like to introduce today is this Accelerate to Demonstrate, or which we call the A2D facility. This covers clean hydrogen, critical minerals, smart energy, and industrial decarbonization. So again, especially the ASEAN Sparks program, or say also the PARS, the second initiative that I have introduced earlier, was a bit more towards the early startups. But this A2D facility, this is more towards demonstration and commercialization. So it's more towards the advanced cycle. And we provide fundings or grants which spans between 1 to 5 million per demonstration project, or up to 3 years of the project cycle. This has been funded by the UK government, and this continues until March 2029. Just one example, I think this is during the first cohort, which we had this call for proposals in 2024. We've been supporting this project in Nepal, in South Asia, on grid resilience through intelligent PV and storage. So we're providing grants to install PV facilities and equipments together with storage. So this is just one example which UNIDO has been supporting through this A2D facility in the energy sector. This is my final slide. Just to recap what UNIDO is doing, and especially to summarize the integrated approach that UNIDO has been conducting. So first is a startup acceleration. So again, as I've already touched upon earlier, we support the whole cycle of the MSMEs and the startup ecosystem. This could be from providing mentorings, business model validations, pitching, trainings, competition platforms, and through demonstrations and commercialization. So this is the first point that I would like to highlight. The second is about institutional capacity. So we work a lot, kind of more on capacity building, to train the mentors, judges, in working very closely with government agencies, research and development institutions, financial actors, and industries to create long-term climate tech innovation ecosystems. So it's very much focused more on people or the resources. The third is on ecosystem strengthening and connectivity. So we have been providing, just to give you a concrete example, through the ASEAN Sparks program, we have, together with the ASEAN Center for Energy, we have developed this guidebook that we have been using, of course, for this ASEAN Sparks program. But not only for that, that can also be applied to other relevant initiatives or accelerator programs. And also some knowledge products and facilitating knowledge exchange, cross-border learning, and investor networking. And finally, we put a very strong focus and priority on inclusive and just transition focus. So again, we have been discussing a lot about gender equality and also about inclusiveness, especially with the youth as well. These are very important for UNIDO. Again, just going back to the SDGs, SDG 9 is not only the goal that we are working on, but also trying to include women entrepreneurs, women startups, women MSMEs, and also the youth. This is also a very, very critical and very important element that we are always focusing on and incorporating in all of our initiatives, programs, and projects. So I would like to highlight those four integrated approaches that UNIDO has been taking so far, and I would like to conclude my presentation here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Noboruzama, for your presentation, and I would like to open the floor for a Q&A session. So if anyone have a question for Dr. Noboruzama, just raise your hand, or maybe the participants online. Well, if you have the question, just raise your hand in Zoom. Allow me to continue. Next, please welcome Ms. Amelia Permata, the Manager Programs Asia Pacific from Plug and Play Asia Pacific, who will discuss strategies for accelerating early stage clean tech ventures as they scale into international market. To Ms. Amelia Permata, the floor is yours.
Thank you.